Well, hey there, friend. Step right in and grab a figure. And welcome to the Pret Pool Channel. Here at the Pret Pool Channel, let's talk about the new action figure I got. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Maybe you might like how it looks, or maybe how it moves with its joints, or maybe you like the stuff it comes with. But no pressure, my friend. Just enjoy the show today, right here at the Pret Pool Channel. So go on and give us like, or be bold and click subscribe. After all, it's a free ride to the Pret Pool Channel.
Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Pret Pool. Thank you for clicking on my video. Today we're going to be doing a review of a Neca Predator figure. This is Ultimate Samurai Predator, and this is kind of based from a video game from Predator that's been out quite a few years already, and they still got different skins that come out and so forth. This is one of them that they've done now in figure form, Neca. And here's the box that it comes with, kind of your standard Neca box, and it's again from Hunting Grounds video game. You know, it does have this what normally they have with the Velcro with a window inside, picture of the figure in the inside cover, more pictures in the back of the figure, logos, picture of the figure, same on this side, and just like legalese. So that's pretty much what it is. So this is considered Ultimate from Neca. So what does this Ultimate figure come with? Well, it doesn't really feel very much Ultimate as far as accessories when that comes to that. So I want to get that out of the way right now. The head he comes with that I have on him right now doesn't come on when you purchase him. He actually has this head on him, which is really nicely sculpted, and that's something you always kind of give Neca props is regarding paint and sculpts. They do excellent job in that area and when it comes to their figures. So no exception here. So we have the helmeted. Again, this is the head that comes on him when you purchase him. He has his dreads tied right here like a slip knot. So, and we'll get more as far as regarding this helmet down the road as far as certain issues that there are with the figure. So this is the extra head, technically, which I already put it on him. Now I prefer this head on him. I mean, they're both, and I'll be switching back and forth, but this one is nicely done as far as the paint detail is done. Still maintains the same style of hair or dreads. Then he has two pairs of hands. One, he comes already with the gripping hands on, and then he also has like a spread out hand. So I already put one of his spread out hands on his left side. So this will be his right side. So here's a closer look. Nicely detailed, nicely painted, no smudges, nothing too obvious regarding that. And then here's his gripping left hand. So even the nails are painted. It's got a nice wrap around the hands. So just a little bit, I think a little red spot right there. But again, it's nothing major to complain about. So it comes with his hands. Then as far as weapons, he comes with a sword. So would that make sense? Because again, he's kind of using samurai armor. So it makes sense that he has some kind of sword matching similar to a katana. So this is again a Jiaocha version of a katana, I would say. A little bit some technology thrown into there. There's a little spike at the end of this sword. If I can focus, there we go. That's pretty neat. Then these here, we've seen quite a few times. I mean, this is nothing new. Now, these were more popular with what was it? These came with the AVP figures. So you get like the extended version. Okay, fully extended. And then you get like it's about to extend out fully. This is kind of matches more like in the first AVP at the end, where the elder gave this to the woman, to the girl at the end as a trophy. And then we have it completely closed or retracted. So I mean, these always had nice details and everything like that. I would have preferred, instead of giving me these three things, to give me a unique spear that he maybe adorned similar to a samurai style, instead of giving us those three things again. But that's what we got though. Now, as far as taking a look as far as paint and sculpt on the figure, is the armor is beautiful. I like the paint that they chose. Here we have like on this arm, on this will be his left arm. We got again his like communication or his device to explode, all that fun stuff that predators normally come with. Here's the backside. He does have here for his cannon, and this does have couple of points of articulation. You can rotate this around so he can do his blasts. It does not come with a blast effect. Something that would have been nice for an ultimate figure to have a blast effect for his blaster. Unfortunately, we do not have one. So we're gonna put this back like this to get this out of the way. This piece here, I thought it was going to hinder articulation a lot, but it doesn't. It does a little bit, but you can't crunch him down. Now, again, him being a samurai armored character, even though predators are supposed to be, agile and be able to jump around, but him being all armored up like this, I kind of accept that he's not super flexible, because samurais were not like ninjas. They were separate. They were more tanks compared to flexibility as ninjas. So he's more of a tank. Now, however, this part here, it is a separate piece, so it slips under this top armor. You can actually pull it out, so it won't hinder. It doesn't hinder anyway when it's under there, but it's not like, it's not restrictive as I thought it would be. So you can still move him around, and he has, quite a few joints to do so. Okay. T-pose is a little bit hindered by his shoulders, especially this one here, because he has the blaster in the way. So, but you can still get quite range. This is a very rubbery plastic, so it'll give in for you to do this pose, but I don't recommend leaving him like this, because then this will get warped. So just to keep that in mind. It does have double jointed elbows. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more about those. A little slight issue with those. Then again, he has, I mentioned, 2 points articulation. Now, before I keep going further down, his head, see how easily that was to pop off? Yeah, that was quite easy, wasn't it? So you really don't really get any back motion because of this, and you get a little bit of down. So let me try to put this back in. It will go in, but like the same way how his head just came off easily, it does. If you're messing around with him, his head will just pop off. You can't look up with him, so that's a shame. Going down to his knees, double jointed knees. They are quite stiff, but they are kind of limited range of motion. And he does have armor pieces. He has his knee pads and all that stuff is getting in the way. So it's not so much. Is more because of the sculpt design and following what the game offered. That is why this has that issue. Ankles, so you can move up and down. You do have a slight rocker, not much. Well, actually, you do have quite a bit. So there you go. All right, so there's that. So far you've seen the sculpts. You've seen, he's got this tied around him. Paint is very nice. Now I'm going to go into some issues that I've had with this figure. So I already touched about the head. Look, no force. Yes, it comes off fairly quick on either one of those heads. So that can be annoying when you're posing him around. So, if I go like this, he won't fall off. it's more, again, if you're just doing that, it just comes off fairly easy that way. This shoulder blaster gets in the way a little bit for his head to turn this way. You get a little bit more range, but then his hair touches the blaster. You can try to move the blaster this way. Do that, but then that's going to get more in the way, but then you do have more range with that. His head already came off, look. So as much as there's no snap or popping with the head. So there's that. Other issue. Let's see, what was the other issue? The other issue I had was this arm, for example. Now, it's common for most figure Nigel Necker, you have to heat the joints up, and which I did. This joint was stiff, so I did that. But then this elbow right here, it's really a cover. So it's a separate piece that covers the joint. So when I heated this up, it just came off. And, I put it back on, and then I had to wait for it to cool. Wait, let's see. Look at that demonstration. So there you go. It just comes right off. No issue. It's snapped back on, but why is it a separate piece? Why do they do that? It's not necessary. Why do they have to make it where, if this thing falls off a shelf or whatever reason, if I have to heat up the joint, this thing just pops off. So they did that. So we got the elbow, we got the loose head. Going back to the head. Let's go to his other head. His other head, as beautiful sculpted as it is, put that there. His crest, this part here, the gold part, is a separate piece, which in itself is not a horrible thing, but it's a separate piece. So when you push or try to push this head down to replace that one, you're most likely going to pop this thing off. So not just because it's a separate piece, but because they use really cheap glue. So I had to use my own glue to put this on there, and fine, now it's there. I don't have to worry about coming off. I'm not going to keep pulling it off, but I'm going to minimize as far as how much I'm going to be switching the heads, because as much as I trust my glue, I don't want to keep pushing and putting pressure to keep popping this thing off. So there's that quality. I don't know, again, why this couldn't be one sculpt. Why they had to make a separate piece. Maybe make it a little bit more rubbery, so if you do have to switch heads, you don't have that issue. There'll be some give in, so that way before it decides to come out of its socket, this can give in first a little bit if it's a little bit more rubbery, to avoid that issue. So there's that. Now I'm going to go to the main issue that I had with this figure, and it has to do with his arm, and it has to do with his left arm, the blade arm, the wrist blade arm. For some reason, in their infinite knowledge of designing this arm, they've created that you got the hand, then you have another piece inside here that is glued in that has the two blades. So it's got this piece that's sculpted, and the blade's supposed to go in and out with it. So to give you a visual effect, this is not the piece. This is just for demonstration. I just grabbed this little plastic thing from another figure just to give you an idea. So let's say this piece is inside here. Okay? Somewhere in there, there's a piece like this in that arm that was used cheap glue to put it in there. Now, what happens is you have the hand connected to that piece. So when I got the figure and I went to switch this hand, took it out, but I didn't take out the hand. I took out the hand and this little piece that's inside his arm completely, that had the wrist blade on it. So you follow what I'm saying? So this part has the wrist blade inside the arm, and you take out this. So now you got this huge hole inside here. Now, what I did, again, since just like the helmet, I used glue. Since the blades were on top of here, I put glue in the bottom down here to try to make it more permanent so that each time I switch hands, it doesn't come out. Unfortunately, when I did that, the glue did spread, and now my wrist blades are stuck this way. They will not extend out because they decided to design this instead of just having this sculpt maybe as one piece with the blades on it, and they just have this thing over cover it and that'd be it. Just make the arm one whole solid piece with a sculpted part for the blades to go in. They didn't do that. They created a whole separate piece that comes out, and they didn't use good glue. And even if I didn't put the glue in, the hand would not stay in there permanently. It will be just like, it would just slip out. It was slipping out. So I had to do something to make it permanent. Unfortunately, it caused that I now have a retracted permanent little blades on my samurai. So that's how my experience with this figure has been so far. I don't regret having it. I regret paying for that amount of money. It wasn't crazy amount, obviously. It was, I think it was like $40 altogether. It's not crazy, but still, so many fixes and touch-ups I had to do on this thing, and it's supposed to be ultimate. It kind of reminded me a lot of, Super 7s as far as its ultimate. So there's that. So let's do some comparisons. This guy is bigger than prior Predators. He's kind of up there with the Feral Predator from Prey. Let me see if I can get him to stand up. There we go. Now I'll probably grab him, the Feral, and do that size comparison. But let's do a AVP sized figure. So this is from one of the other video games, one of the earlier ones. And we see that he is taller than, slightly taller than those figures, and those AVP body bucks were pretty tall. So this would be more of a jungle hunter. This is Golden Angel. And there we see that, again, he's taller than that one. Take those out. Now let's do, sticking with kind of like ninja samurais, let's do Budo from Classifieds. Okay. And let's do Medi Toys Leo. Just grab him real quick. All right. So yeah, he's a big guy. And let's do one last comparison. Let's do a Savage Crucible. Vernock. And we'll do X-Ray Goldhilder. Okay. All right, so this figure, can I in good faith recommend it? Not really. I cannot recommend it. If you're a die-hard Predator fan and you don't mind doing touch-ups on a figure, yeah, go for it. If you're not planning to really pose him much, just pretty much you're going to treat him more of a statue, yeah, go for it. If you're planning to take a lot of crazy pictures with him, if you're easily annoyed by defects, if you don't like things breaking, if you don't like things falling apart, if you do not like things that you have issues with, don't get him. Again, nice looking figure, nicely sculpted, nicely painted. There's a lot of things that decision wise, I don't know why they went with that, especially with the arm. So I'm surprised they did that in a way. I bought several Predators from before, and the only main issues I've had with Neca's Predators before was the wrist blades, as far as being very fragile and they will break easily. But other than that, I never had really major issues with Predators. I had issues with their Xenos and some other figures, but not nothing major with predators. This is the first time I can really aggravated. Well, I say I've been disappointed with the product. As far as that, I feel it could have been so much better. I wish they had provided a different spear, a much better spear. When they did the Lost Tribe, there was one of the predators came with this awesome axe that never saw really that axe in the movie, yet they provided it to him. Yet this guy they couldn't provide him with like some really cool, predator Yautja samurai inspired spear. So I would have liked that. All right, so hopefully this review was helpful. I don't like to always be critical or as far as put down a figure, but I just want doing this more to advise you and to let you know what you might experience if you get this figure. You may not experience the same thing as I do. Perhaps yours might be a fluke, for all I know. Maybe you'll buy one and you're like, I don't know what he's talking about. I've had no issues. And if you don't have any issues, more power to you, man. I'm glad you got it and it worked out for you great. For me, not so great. All right, so thank you again for clicking and watching my video. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon in another of my videos. See you later.